Could you now playing at a theater near you?
Lethal Weapon is a 1987 American action thriller directed by Richard Donner and written by Shane Black. Starring Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, the film follows two mismatched LAPD detectives, Martin Riggs and Roger Murtaugh. Released theatrically in the United States on March 6, 1987 by Warner Brothers.
March on Cinemax, where you get more movies, more choice. Right, Mel?
You're gonna have to trust me.
Film director Richard Donner is well known for his fine contributions to the action-adventure genre, with films like Superman, The Goonies, The Omen, and Lady Hawk to his credit.
Everybody go to your number one position now, please.
Goes over our head.
So when Warner Brothers decided to team Mel Gibson and Danny Glover in a contemporary thriller called Lethal Weapon, they knew who to
So
call.
when they're chasing her, the chopper can be right over us.
The California desert is legendary for blistering temperatures, but it cooled a bit by fall when Richard Donner's cast and crew set up to film a climactic scene in which Gibson and Glover, playing two Vietnamese vets turned lethal urban cops, elect to take on a small army of drug-dealing mercenaries led by Gary Busey. For the celebrated star of The Color Purple, Danny Glover, handling artillery and action was a new twist. But for Mel Gibson, the blue-eyed superstar whose international fame was launched as the steel-willed road warrior, getting roughed up and dirty is all part of a day's work. His martial arts trainer found there weren't many new tricks this actor didn't already know.
You get a lot of action scripts, especially from, I've done a lot of things before that sort of tag you in a way, so they send you a lot of action kind of orientated things. But this one seems to be a cut above because I think the action is a sort of a sideline. It's like off on the side. It carries the momentum of the picture along, but I think it's really about relationships, and the film has a kind of light and warmth to it that you don't find with a lot of other action films. So that to me is, that's enticing, and I like that aspect of it.
I've wanted to work with Mel for quite some time, and I've always believed he's had more sense of humor than we have seen on film. Then the part of that Danny Glover's playing, Murtaugh, was never written as for a black actor. And without any rewrite, per se, except references, Danny was totally ideal for it. It's a relationship film. It's a partner film, and it's slightly bigger than life. It's steeped in its own reality. Verisimilitude is a word that we thrive on in the film itself, but it has its own sense of reality. It's got its own sense of humor. It's an action-packed film about two wonderful guys that should never have been thrown together, that get thrown together, and turns out they always should have been thrown together. Running shot from him over to the... I tell you, we've got to do a reverse on him. What we'll do is...
Richard Donner is a perfectionist, and it shows in his films. He works hard to create the kind of authentic excitement that today's movie audiences demand.
Maui.
Now the helicopter is in the air. Safety is checked, and the crew is ready, as the actors are all in place. If all the preparation pays off, the director will get this scene perfect on the first take.
That's cleared. You got enough down. Let's go, boys. Everybody out on number one position.
Run over here.
Okay, great. Start rolling.
Simple exchange. You come with us, the girl goes home.
Let her go now.
As I said, take your hands out of your pockets.
Sure thing, pal. It's a line. Let her go now or we all die.
Take it! But, sorry, you're bluffing!
It's a very flippant, offhand way of direction. That works. I mean, because he's so cool and relaxed and jolly about everything, it tends to, loosens everyone up. And that's a good way to work. Because, relaxation is the key to any kind of skill at all. And he seems to have it nailed. So that's good. I enjoy it working with him.
Bobby Miller. Mick Rogers is here on the dance floor if you need him. Bobby will be here in about 5-10 minutes also. That's coming direct from Mike South.
Keep them waiting, they'll pay him more money. Let me keep them waiting, they'll pay him more money. Take it back.
Otherwise, mostly sunny, and the coolest day around 74 right now.
What are you taking those pictures for?
I guess you project so, Danny.
Go right in there.
Oh, Danny, it's always nice to see you. We go back.
We go back.
Yeah, to Places in the Heart. It's our very first time to meet, and we keep running into one another every year or so.
Well, it's a pleasure. It's an
Thanks.
honor. Thank you.
And here you are, Danny, in an entirely different kind of role. But the first thing I have to bring up is that when I read you were playing a 50-year-old, I thought, now wait a minute, Danny, wait a minute.
He may be getting older, but he's in age 10, 12 years since the last time I saw him. That was something that I had to come to grips with, more than anything else in the film. One of the things is playing older, because of we're so vain, I don't, I want to be 50 when I'm 50, but it was no problem after all. I had fun with it. I just transposed some of the thoughts of being 40, approaching 40, and with and feeling my body, slightly deteriorating. The knees ached a little bit, and it's a funny story. I had problems with my heel, and I was taking some naproxen to do that. And I tell you, when I was taking the naproxen to deal with my heel, I was feeling like I was 25 years old, ripping and running. Then I stopped taking the naproxen because I had some dental surgery done. And it wore off in about, 7 to 10 days, the naproxen. Boy, everything ached. Everything that didn't ache before ached, knees, ankles, arms. It was incredible. And then I felt like I was 40 again. Well, it's funny, but yes, everything aches. Everything aches when you're 40, and it's going to ache a little bit more. Hopefully not as much when I'm 50.
This is such a physical picture, Danny.
Yes.
And here you are, cast opposite Mel Gibson. And what did you have to go through as far as getting into the physicality of the film?
Well, we had a really interesting experience with that. We had a very eccentric stunt coordinator, Bobby Bass, and we tried to do things right in terms of police codes and how you handle weapons. Went through probably what I heard for the first time on Warner Brothers lot. People going through, actors going through actual training for weapons safety, So we did all that. We did a very deliberate, precise schedule of not only physically building up our endurance, but also teaching us correctly how to use the things we were using, whether they were rifles, guns, or whatever, or speed loaders, all those kind of things, and doing it efficiently and with speed in mind.
Your first time really to handle weapons very much?
Well, except for Silverado, but that was different, I mean, there's certain, in films, period, there's always some sort of stretch of imagination, stretch of reality in a sense. Silverado, in Westerns, because of what they are, you stretch them a little bit more. But this one was, that was a bit different. This one was really hard work. We would come up to a house on the lot, when they empty houses, and decide through just either signaling each other or just looking at each other how we were going to take this house, how we were going to proceed and search this house. And it's an exhausting process. I mean, because your adrenaline is pumped. You're really pumped and you're really up. And you're going and you're moving and you're quickly moving. You're reacting to sounds. You're reacting to imaginary sounds. What most of us do as actors, react to imaginary stimulus. But we're doing all those things, and it's really something, And it was physically tiring. We did that for about 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours every day, 5 days a week, for 6 weeks prior to shooting the film, Mel Gibson and ourselves. And we got to know each other, too, in that process,
Of course, women have one reaction to Mel Gibson. And now here as a man, I want a male point of view about Mel Gibson.
Well, the things that, certainly women think, and rightfully so, that he's incredibly handsome. And the word I hear all the time that he tries to run away from, and he does this and really tries to run away from it, is being sexy and all that. But also the other things that we both would have, women and men would have, in terms that he's vulnerable, he's accessible, and very special as an actor and a performer. He gives as an actor and performer. She's always giving. Really a pleasure, and really simply a pleasure. Unpretentious, and really a pleasure.
Danny, if we can skip over to the upcoming Academy Awards, do you have any thoughts about who might be a front runner in the supporting races?
Let's see. I don't really know. I know that Dexter Gordon is nominated for Best Actor in Roundabout Midnight, and he should get that. He was incredible. Supporting, I like both the guys from Platoon, especially. I like William Dafoe a bit, but both Tom Berenger, both of those guys I like. I can't remember who else is there.
What about the women? Diane Wiest is one.
Oh, yes. You see, I don't know, but I'm a big Diane Wiest fan. I'm a big Diane Wiest fan, so, and I like her a lot, so yes. But I don't know, really. I hadn't really followed that much. I knew off the top of the head some of the things, some of the people, but not a great deal.
Well, Danny, it's good to see you again. The time goes all too fast.
All too fast.
Yes, but congratulations.
When I get down to Dallas, we have to do a live show.
All right. You're on for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to do when I come down to Dallas again.
Okay. Good to see you, Danny.
Take care.
I
Thank
shall.
you.
You do the same.
All right. It's good. Boy,
Thanks, Danny. thought you were talking about some actress.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Okay, and you're going to vary between singles and 2 shots on me? Is that what you're doing? Okay. All right. Well, hello again, Mel
Hello.
Gibson. It's
Again.
good to see you.
It's been a year? Yes.
Yes.
Long months.
Last time we talked during Mad Max Thunderdome.
Yeah.
And now here you are, a registered lethal weapon.
Yes, registered.
Does that make you more legitimate
I guess so.
if you're registered?
Well,
Anyway, it's a heck of an action picture, really fine action picture. And it's so ripe for a sequel that, is there talk about that? Or are you signed up for that possibility?
No, I'm not signed up for it, but in the original screenplay that I wrote, it was like a real gag at the end because the last page had Riggs and Murtaugh will return in body count. But I mean, that's just the writer having a joke, or maybe not. I don't know.
But would you do a sequel if it were presented?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to make decisions like that right now, but but perhaps, yeah.
Yeah. One of the scenes that just wiped me out, Mel, I just love it, is the scene where you say, you want to see crazy, I'll show you crazy, and you do the slapping of your head.
The
and
Three Stooges.
Well, now, was that written in there, or did you improvise that?
Well, what happened was that there was an earlier scene that was actually omitted from the version you saw, where I started goofing around like that, and they filmed it, and they liked it, so that then they began to write it in. They actually used to print it on the, he does Three Stooges, you know. So it was a collaboration of effort, you know, between ideas of, you know, off the cuff, spur of the moment ideas, and the writer sort of liking the idea and sort of putting it in certain places.
Can you show us on camera what you do?
Oh, no, it hurts.
But roughly, you just take your 2 hands and kind of beat your head.
You know, you know what you've seen the Three Stooges, have you? Yeah, you must have. Everyone's seen the Three. You know that curly guy, the good one. You know, the funny one with the sort of bald head or a short hair. He had a crew cut, and he used to do this, you know, this kind of thing. But he used to do it really hard. You know, he used to slap himself in the face. So and faster, you know, that kind of thing.
See, I'm laughing. I love it. And then the action that follows it is so great. It's a good bit.
Yeah.
And I can see kids all over the world, you know, emulating Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon. You'll go down in history that way, Mel.
Oh, geez. As a stooge.
Well, he does have a great sense of humor, and that had to be fun for you to play this guy.
Yeah, I think you had to balance out the man's kind of, he's a guy in a lot of pain, actually, and you had to kind of have the 2 levels there, otherwise the one didn't work. If you didn't have one, you couldn't have the other, so you justify it that way.
Yeah. I'm curious to talk with you a little bit about this impact that Australians are making in the film industry. Now, of course, you're born in the U.S., but you grew up since the age of 11 in Australia. Your home is Australia. And you have your wife and 4 children, is it?
Yes,
5? 4.
4.
4.
No,
Last count.
4, yes.
Okay. When you were making films in Australia, and when you did Gallipoli, for instance, could you ever have foreseen that now there would be this worldwide impact that you Australian actors are making?
I think that was the aim when we made things like Gallipoli, was to put it on display and to show it to whoever wanted to see it, and to make it accessible to Americans and Europeans and everyone. So that was the aim from the beginning, and that it's actually happening is great. And you know, we must have been doing something a little bit right, perhaps.
But you consciously, did you and Peter Weir ever discuss that when you were doing Gallipoli?
Oh yeah, I think that kind of thing came up in discussions. But when I read it, I mean, it was just a very universal war story. So it was what film were we talking about? But yeah, that was talked about. You have to keep a mind to those sort of things. You can't make something so indigenous that it's, you know, you exclude an audience. I hate the thought of that.
But the American audience is a little more difficult to please, or they have different tastes. As you well know, you can take some films that do very well in Europe, and they come here and they practically bomb. So what is it saying, that the Australian actor and the Australian films are closer to American tastes?
Yes, I would say so. They're almost a halfway point between a European film and an American film, in a way. They have, because they go well in Europe too, Australian films. There is something of both in them. It's like a place of meeting.
Okay, that's all you have to say about that.
Yeah.
What is next for you? Do you have another film that you've completed and that's waiting to open? No.
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 One day at a time. That's what they say. And I'm just hanging loose. Just no rush.
Going back to the cattle ranch.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm from Texas, and we're a big cattle country. What kind of cattle do you run?
Herefords with horns on their heads.
Have you tried any of the crossbreeding and all that kind of stuff that's big in Texas?
Yeah, I go for beef, of course. I guess they do in Texas too. That's not a real dairy place, but I've got a few crossbreds. They're sort of beef dairy crosses, to raise bigger animals, with the mother's milk and things. But I'm going to dabble in it some more because I find it interesting. The genetic possibilities, I get excited by that. So I'll put them together and see what we get. Might really mess something up. But
have your children seen this movie?
No, I haven't seen this movie. So.
Do they normally see your films?
Oh yeah, they'll see some of them. It's a funny reaction that you'll get from them.
Do they like it, or they like seeing you on film, or?
Oh yeah, they get a kick out of it. But I mean, it's not. They're very young, and I mean, it doesn't appeal to them. Perhaps the subject matter, and some things I won't let them see. But
violence, you won't let them see?
Oh no, they can handle that all right.
Sex.
Well, you got to be very careful with little kids what you expose them to, because you want them to grow up the right way. But as far as they're concerned, everyone's father is on television. They.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Well, Mel, it's good talking with you again. I enjoyed Lethal Weapon. I think it will do dynamite business. It's that kind of film, and until we see one another, possibly at the sequel then.
Who knows?
Okay. Thank you very much.
I gotta stand up.
Okay, tape is rolling. Wait for speed. And we have speed.
Well, Dick, I always look forward to talking with you because, first of all, then that means I get to see a Dick Donner picture, and so far you haven't disappointed me. They've been very different. Last time we talked was Lady Hawk, remember?
God love Lady Hawk.
Yes, I liked that picture very much.
I wish more people went to see it.
Well, I think lots of people are going to see this one because it's in a very popular genre of action and adventure and...
sense of humor, too, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's the difference, actually. It's just action is action. And when I read it, it was an action. I'd never done an action. But Lethal Weapon, the only thing different for me was it had this that wonderful relationship between Mel and Danny.
And here is Mel Gibson, a registered lethal weapon, a little on the crazy side. And I'm wondering, Dick, in the script, if it was written into the script how far he should go, or whether this going over the edge business was something that you and he had to work on together.
Yeah, sure, we had to work on it together, but it was there. It was primarily there. It was a character who was on the edge, and due to his relationship with Danny, or to this new relationship with a new partner, it all starts to come back. The thing that wasn't there, that I really attribute to Mel and Danny, and that is their ability to relate on a level with a sense of humor. We developed that sense of humor, and a lot of it was improvisational. The entire scene in the car when they're driving away, which I desperately love, after Dan Mel has jumped off the building with the guy and he's attempted suicide, we thought, and Danny finds out from the psychiatrist that he's in trouble, and they start that scene in the car, and we drove pulling that car, and I was on the outside of the van listening, and these two guys, it just all started to flow. That's when it really happened between the relationship with the two. We were in hysterics on the car, and that to me is the only difference this picture makes from a lot of pictures. The action's great. I mean, I never played with action before. I love it. I surrounded myself with the best people in the world to teach me. But what I couldn't learn and it was to develop this wondrous relationship between Danny and Mel. It's the funniest I've ever seen Mel. And Danny, I mean, he's just a natural. So the two of them together, and on and off set. I mean, you could never stop them. It was cut, and they just kept going for days. They were.
I wondered, did...
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
You got...
All right.
Tape is rolling. And we have speed.
Dick, since this was your first real big action picture, and what with the Twilight Zone case and everything, did it make you more nervous going into this kind of picture and a little more fearful?
Well, no, not really. I'm a firm believer that, as a matter of fact, I'm not liked by stunt people. And we had a tragedy just after this picture was made. A wonderful man named Dar Robinson, one of the great stuntmen, was killed
on another picture.
On a following picture.
And what was it called?
I don't know. I've really tried to block it out of my mind. He's been a friend for a lot of years, and matter of fact, the picture's dedicated to him, as you probably saw in the titles.
Your picture,
yes.
Yeah.
But I'm a firm believer that there's not a limb worth a stunt, much less a life. And if I see a stuntman's pushing too hard, I'll pull back. I'll say, I don't want that, even if they want to do it. A lens is magical. We're illusionists. That's our job. We create all kinds of illusions, from humor to love to action to anything you want, to men flying, if you will. And if you can't do it with a lens, then don't do it. And that's been my policy, and I've been lucky. I've never had a major incident. Sure, people have been hurt, but you expect that on a minimal basis. But things can happen. They can get out of hand. You can lose control. I'd just be damned if it's going to happen on one of my pictures. If it does, I'll feel damned.
The one scene that is so spectacular, and we don't want to give too much away, but it's a tandem jump, and that was Dar and another.
That was Dar and a wonderful man, Mel's double named Mick Rogers, who is also a great stuntman who studied with Dar for many, many years. Yeah, that's a jump and a half. I couldn't watch that. I never saw them land, and I never saw them go off from the main jump. I can't watch those things. That's why I turn it over to the stunt people. And when it's all over, I say, "How was it?" I can't watch. My stomach goes into a total knot.
Did they do it more than once?
No, ma'am. If the camera, I had 4 or 5 cameras on it. If it came down to only one was a print, that's the one we would have used. But I would never. I would fight them before I let them do it again.
Yeah. I have a theory, Dick, and I would appreciate your opinion on it. I respect your opinion. I have a theory about actors, and that
so do I.
And that is that all the good actors I know and all the really effective actors I know have something wonderful going on in their eyes.
That's a lot of times you work with an actor and you say he's dead, and nobody knows that he's dead behind the eyes. And there's those that are just so full of life behind the eyes. Now when you hit something right on the button, because if you ever studied those two guys, especially Mel Gibson, I mean, what goes on behind those eyes is magical. Watch him, man. He's dangerous. He's a pixie. He's the most wonderful, vibrant human being I've ever met. Strange man with incredible command of the English language, which you'd never realize. Mel is he's a quiet, unassuming guy who's really coming into his own. But you get into those eyes, I mean, forget it. They're pools. There's such depth in there. It's phenomenal. And that's where I really found Mel's sense of humor. I mean, because how many times you talk about not looking into somebody's eyes, or they don't return your look or something, and it's Mel, you look into his eyes, you know something's coming. You got to prepare yourself. He's a practical joker. He's got a tremendous sense of humor, and his eyes tell you when to prepare yourself for the shock that's about to happen to you. Yeah, that's a good observation, because eyes are a dead giveaway for actors. And when there's nothing behind them, they could work all their life and study all their life, but nothing will ever come on the screen.
This picture would seem to me to be just a perfect setup for a sequel. Would you do a sequel?
I don't know. It is a perfect setup for a sequel, and if we've had some incredible audience reactions to the film, and if we're already in the throes of of preparing the start of a screenplay for sequel 2. Whether I'll just produce it, I don't know, or whether I'll produce it and or direct it, I don't know. I never wanted to do a sequel myself, but I had such a wonderful time with these two crazies and the surrounding cast. The little, I call her Rianne, little Tracy Wolf, first time out, and well, the whole cast was one. I really cast this picture out of a lot of friendship. Would I do it again? There's a good chance this time I'd break my rule, because it would be just another 12 weeks of fun.
Okay. I bet we'll be talking again maybe in a year or two. Dick, as always, it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you very
much. Good luck
much.
with the picture.
Go see it.
Well, I sometimes think many of us wonder if you can be a family man and still be a tough cop in a big city like L.A. Danny Glover, your character takes on that issue broadside. You really are both. And I'm wondering if you've ever heard from professional law enforcement officers as to how easy or not easy it is to maintain a sane family life.
Well, I imagine it's tough, incredibly. I mean, your life is on the line all the time, and you have to come home to another situation. But I would imagine also that part of coping with that, both extremes, is to bring as much dedication and breath to both of those things, both the job, one, and then the experience with your family is another.
Can we apply the challenges like that maybe to those of an actor coming home to his family after a day on the set?
No, not really. You know, I'm make-believe out here. I'm pretending, you know. I'm shooting with full-load blanks. You know, I'm not being shot at with real bullets. I don't think there's an analogy there.
But let's say as an actor on any kind of a project, you're away from the home for a day and you come back and you were having to adjust from a fantasy world now to the real thing.
Well, yeah, of course. There's my wife thinks I carry a lot of it with me, you know, when I'm working on a character.
How can she tell that? Does she tell you that?
I don't think she can, you know. I think I become a bit moody, a bit real moody. I get real quiet when I'm working on a project. It's one of my hallmarks, that I'm real quiet, deliberate, you know, and I'm paying attention and listening, but on the other hand, I'm not listening. I'm not as attentive when I'm working, you know. I try to do and pretend that I am, but I'm not as attentive.
You're a seasoned veteran at this by now, and working with young Tracy Wolf, you have as your screen daughter a newcomer to the movies.
Yes.
Did you have a chance to kind of take her under your wing a little bit?
No, she's great in her own right. She does incredibly well in her own right. You know, and there were certain things. I mean, the wonderful thing about acting is being able to watch someone else work. You know, and you're able to learn from each other. You know, no matter how many times you've done it. You know, I was able to learn from Mel, who's done it more than I have. And maybe Mel learned something from me. Maybe I know I learned something from Tracy, and vice versa. So it's reciprocal in a way. Yeah.
What do you think a guy like Mel Gibson might, in all fairness, learn from you? Any speculations there? Is that a tough question?
That's a tough one. That's a loaded one. But I mean, there's something, you know, we watch each other. I think people who appreciate what they're doing, and this is a business that's very competitive, very, as a friend of mine once said about reptilian, as he called it.
Serpentine.
Reptilian. It's a business that does that, but I think that truly those people who really love what they're doing and appreciate other people's work, in some sense, watch each other and learn from them and pick up each other. We enter this world getting from people, always. I mean, our whole makeup is you getting something from someone else to get where you are. We're always taking. I've taken from my grandparents, my mother, father, brothers, sisters, and everyone who's laid this path for me along. And so it's part of growing. It's part of our whole socialization, our own humanization.
In fact, I'd like to stay with your dad, if I may. There's a Kansas City connection there, if you could explain.
Yes. My dad is from Kansas City. I mean, so much I've gotten from him, you know. Just his own quietness that I appreciate, and just his own really accessibility, my dad, you know. in a ways, you know. And in one way, being able to embrace him now because he's up in age and understand him, spend much more time with my dad. Because I remember when he was my age. I remember when he was 40 years old, you know. And
now, is he 6'4" too? I mean, when you embrace him, are you looking up or down?
I'm looking way down. My dad is a foot shorter than I am.
Yeah.
But he's 8 foot to me.
What if you could take us onto the set, working now with Mel Gibson? Did the two of you take each other's measure initially? Were you friends initially? Anything to break through there?
Well, there's no breakthrough when you say, this is what we want to do, this is the film that we want to make, and this is what we see in terms of this film. There's nothing to break through. I mean, probably the one thing you break through, both of us are instinctively quiet people, you know, we're very quiet, you know, so getting a conversation, I'm not a great conversationalist. I may talk now because of the questions, I have questions to answer and everything, but that was about the only thing we broke through. Once we started, it was just wonderful. I mean,
but by contrast to your quietness, he's a little bit more irrepressible, isn't he, on a set?
Well, no, he's real quiet. He's real quiet.
No practical jokes?
Well, he does a little bit of that. We all do that, you know. We had the greatest practical joker for a director.
Oh, no, I can't let that go by.
The funniest guy is unbelievable funny. This Dick Donner is just unbelievable, believable. He's funny, you know.
Is that important?
Yeah, he keeps it light in a way, you know. It's a line that I use. He'd always come up to the crew. Why am I waiting?
Why is he waiting?
Why am I waiting? You know, it takes forever to set up, you know, a shot. So it's why am I waiting? This is a line, but it's so funny when Dick says it. No one says it like Dick, you know. And you get an immediate response. Steve Goldblatt, why am I waiting? Steve Goldblatt was the cinematographer on the film.
Well, Danny, why were you keeping him waiting? What was going on? Take us out to Victorville. You were all waiting around in the desert out there for stretches at a time.
Please.
Yeah.
I mean, you ate, slept, dirt, dust. That was something experience. Or the night shooting. Being wet, and when we shot the fight, that was at night. There was no day for night on that. That was at night.
Couldn't you and Mel ever slip away for a beer?
Oh, shoot. I can remember shivering every time I think about. That's the thing about looking at films and watching yourself, is sometimes there's some moment in a film where you look at it and you say, boy, I remember everything that happened at that moment. And I'm feeling how my body reacted in that moment. You know,
sensory memories, too.
Oh, boy.
The big man on screen, Danny Glover.
Take care.
Good to see you.
All right.
Want to say hey to Kansas City?
Hey, Kansas City.
We're both in Hollywood, and we're on KCTV5.
I got a crazy little woman.
Hey, you do, eh? On that note, I'm John Tibbetts.
An actor. He's in a new movie called Lethal Weapon, and best of all, he's here with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I count 10 pictures that you would put on your resume that you have made, and this is the first time you are teamed with somebody else. You were with Danny Gibson. You're a couple of cops. You really click. The audience really gets a feeling that there's a camaraderie here and yet a kind of standoffness. Yeah. Why is that? How did that work?
Well, he's a damn good actor, and he's a nice guy. And I think that sort of thing comes across on the screen. I mean, you can tell when someone's a nice guy or not. But we had to live in each other's pockets for a couple of months before the filming and train together. You know, calisthenics, up, down, jumping jacks and things.
You're two cops. You're both Vietnam veterans. You're totally dissimilar. And you're out to solve a murder. And we're going to show a clip in which he, who is older and more sedate, where you are younger and wilder, where he gets to meet you for the first time. You're an eccentric undercover cop, as it were. And early in the movie, you are confronting the drug dealers who think they have just a ton of cocaine. A lot of characters in the movie think you're crazy in this movie. I mean, you are really, your eyes get a little weird. You have said in real life that I have been in danger of stepping off. And Richard Donner, your director, said his eyes are full of laughter, but there's a lot of anger and hostility underneath. He is a real tough SOB underneath.
Sob? Yes, I
do you ever think you're a sob? Yeah, then it's a car, I think.
I think so.
Do you ever feel in real life that you're walking on the edge?
No, it's, I mean, there are times, I mean, you don't have to murder someone to play a murderer. I I hope I never have to get that involved in it.
Your eyes get wild. Can you just turn that on and off? Sometimes your eyes are laughing, and sometimes in this movie your eyes are just insane.
Well, he's a kind of he's a madman in a way. I perceive him as imbalanced. The character doesn't know
whether or not
he's mad. I mean, he worries about it. I think he knows he's got a problem, but he comes to grips with that. I think by the end of the thing, he resolves it for himself.
He fears nobody in this movie.
Absolutely. Well, he doesn't care. I mean, he doesn't even care about.
Is that the secret to his character?
I think so.
He'll take any risk because he doesn't care what happens to himself?
He doesn't care if he dies. In fact, he even tries to engineer it himself from time to time.
Is there anybody in real life that Mel Gibson fears?
Oh, yeah.
Name 3.
Well, I'd hate to run into all these stories about him when I was young, coming down chimneys, you know.
You and Glover make a wonderful team, and you're both good actors. What makes you a good actor? What attributes does a good actor have to have?
I think to enable you to practice what you've learned, I think you have to be able to relax. I think you have to learn relaxation. That's basically it. I think 99% of people really could, you know, do something. I mean, people are acting all the time in their everyday life, and the more relaxed they are when they do it, the more convincing they are.
When we have a talk here on television, is that a performance?
Well, half. I'm trying. You know, it's off the cuff, so it's I'm being more myself, so it's slightly less comfortable.
You're less comfortable being yourself?
I think so, you know, on live TV, you know.
Well, we promised the people are going to find out who the real Mel is, and we can't do it in 4 or 5 minutes, so you're going to be back tomorrow.
Okay.
And we'll talk some more, and we will dig deep into the psyche of Mel Gibson.
Okay, get it all out there on display.
You betcha.
Right.
But right now, we'll go to a man.
Oh.
Willis. There's not much I have to say except 2 words. Mel Gibson. And he's here again this morning, and I'm very happy to see you again.
Good morning again.
Good morning again.
It's becoming a habit.
Lethal Weapon is your new movie. You're sort of a loose cannon in that movie. You're a cop.
A loose cannon?
Yeah. Isn't that what you are?
I suppose I like a spring.
Yeah. Nobody knows what you're going to do next. And you're teamed up with Danny Glover, who is another cop, and you're on a murder investigation. And that is what Lethal Weapon is about.
Yeah.
It is also about a terrific villain, Gary Busey.
Gary Busey.
Who catches you very early in the movie. You're a very tough character, and you got to be tough to survive the electric shock torture that Gary Busey orders his henchmen to bolt through you. And here you are, on screen, being tortured by Gary Busey.
I've told you everything I know.
Well, immediately after that, it gets very shocking.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, put your hair on it.
You had to be in terrific physical shape to do this movie, it seems. There's a lot of action. You're flying through plate glass windows. I think half the stuntmen in Hollywood and New Zealand must have been in on this movie.
Yeah, there's a big team of guys.
But also in this movie, you have some very tender scenes. One particularly where you are lamenting the death of your wife. And you're all alone in that scene. You have nobody to play against. And I'm wondering, Mel Gibson, after you've been in all these Mad Max movies and this kind of a movie with a lot of action, whether it is not more difficult for you to play the tender and tormenting scene than it is to jump all over the place and jump through windows.
Well, the physicality, I suppose, helps to get something going inside of you. I mean, that's always an aid, you know, for the insides, becoming physical. But those kind of scenes, I think, where something pretty heavy and truthful is required, I really can't get to those unless I'm quite relaxed and happy. I mean, I don't work myself up into a I don't hurt myself and try and get into the whatever. I mean, you must think about it, yes, but relaxation and being perfectly happy is...
Is that a strength of being an actor?
A strength of being an actor? Well, that's the way I do it. I'm sure other people have all different ways of getting to something, you know.
Next symbol, image. When you look at another woman, what do you look for in a woman? If you were at a party and a woman came into the room, what was the first thing you'd notice about her?
Probably whether she was smiling or not.
Her face.
Yeah.
And what do you look for in a woman? What does Robin have, your wife, that makes you such a good family man and has kept your marriage together so long?
A gun. She's a good friend, you know.
Is she a strong woman?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah. She's got strengths where I haven't.
You once said that your mother gave you the clue for a happy marriage.
Yeah.
What was it?
Oh, just be nice.
Kindness, huh?
Yeah, just be nice to one another.
Are you kind at home?
Well, sometimes.
Are you good to your kids?
Well, you know, I think I'm a hitting father. You know, I think.
You're not a hitting father.
Oh, I am. I think.
Oh, you are a hitting father.
I am. Oh, yeah.
Oh, tell me about that.
Well, I think you have to do that. They like me. I mean, I don't go around bruising them or anything. I try not to hurt them, just to deter them, I suppose.
If they do something naughty.
Yeah, you know, break their will but not their spirit. You know, I think it's important that they must realize that they can't have everything that they want, and it won't always go their way. They've got to get that from the beginning. I mean, I don't usually ever paddle their little bottoms until they're over 2 years of age. You know, when they sort of start to get an inkling that there's some sort of reason creeping in.
You were one of 11 children. Are you done?
Am I done? Am I done having children? There's another one on the way.
Oh, that's great. You have had a kind of nomadic career. You've shot movies all over the world, and you've been a very good family man, I understand, and you always take your wife and your children with you on location. Sure. What happens when they get a little older now and they have to go to school? Is that going to stop your wandering?
That becomes a problem. Yeah, I'll have to figure that one out next.
Well, it's close, right?
Yeah.
You have not done a comedy. Would you ever like to do a comedy? I have a fantasy in my mind of you and Jessica Lange doing a comedy.
That sounds like a good idea.
That would be a good team up.
What sort of money are we talking about?
You know what you want to do next?
No. I've got a production company.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I have this urge, this compulsion to sort of smoke big cigars and wear loud jackets, but I'm becoming a producer. Well, I'm trying. I'm working with a woman who's a veteran producer, and she's showing me the ropes.
So you would have to juggle a number of careers as a producer, as a packager, as an actor, as a family man, and as a husband. So if you're such a good juggler, I always carry apples with me. Come here.
You got apples in your pocket?
Here's an apple.
And here's
an apple. Here is an apple.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Here we go with Mel Gibson.
You're going to say goodbye?
I'm going to say goodbye.
How long can I
The man who's crazy in Lethal Weapons, apple of the women's eyes.
My God.
Thank you, Mel Gibson. And good luck with Lethal Weapon. It's a very, very good action picture.
Thank you.
You and Danny Glover are first rate. Look at that apple.
Yes, it's plastic.
Well, with Richard Donner, we were just talking about how terrifying an empty canvas can be sometimes for a painter. For a filmmaker, is there a time when there's a complete blank and you've got to start filling it in, and that's the scariest time of all?
Yeah, it's invariable that when the day we're supposed to start shooting, the night before, I come down with laryngitis.
Laryngitis?
I always do. I'm serious. I mean, I know it. Everybody now that knows me laughs. I know I got the flu. I can't go in. Let's wrap. Let's not start today. I can't talk. But everybody that knows me will insist that I go to work, and I'll insist I go to work. And when you finally say action for the first time, it all disappears. But it's total panic.
Well,
total
horse
panic.
or not, I understand you're very funny on the set. Danny says that occasionally you would say, "Why am I waiting?"
Well, that's not funny, man. That's a director's. That's your albatross. I mean, is the word wait, because it's that every time you wait, either you're losing drive or you're losing the time for that setup, and you wait is it's a terrible word, and it's a terrible thing to do to people, because your cameraman's lighting, and then you've only given. You say, "Why am I waiting? Why am I waiting?" And when the actor's, "Well, yes, sure, I'm a yeller. Why am I waiting?"
When you confront two people that I would think would be so temperamentally contrasting, Danny Glover and Mel Gibson, I mean, was there a time when you sort of looked at the two of them and shook your head a little bit, like, how can I meld these two?
Well, let me tell you, I don't think there was a temperamental contrast in them at all. Their temperaments were magical. Both of them are very disciplined actors. Both of them are very wonderful people with a great sense of humor and a great personality. They, if anything, I would try and create a little bit of a problem between the characters on screen, because they seem to be so much alike in person.
No kidding.
Oh yeah, both of them had me giggling all the time, and
did Mel ever get out his red nose?
His red nose.
Supposedly, according to a journalist, he has a funny nose.
Oh yeah, a little ball he puts on the end. Yeah, but Mel is always doing. Mel is one of the funniest young men I've ever worked. He's an actor that I'm dying to do a really straight out, wonderful, broad, rich comedy with, because he's great. As is Danny. Danny's amazing. You know what? And Danny, here's a guy that Danny's all of 38 years old or something.
40, huh?
40 now. Oh, he lied. An incredible physical condition, and he portrayed a 50-year-old man. There's scenes when he's running down Hollywood Boulevard and the thing, and he's running like an old man. And I would walk over to him. I said, "Geez," I was embarrassed to say, "Danny, can you give me another one? We have to." Here, Mel is running like crazy. And he said, "What do you mean? Can I give you another one?" I said, "Well, I mean, you got another one in you, because usually." He said, "Are you kidding?" And he'd run around, and you'd realize this man is acting 50. So the two of them, their temperaments were wonderfully rich and humorous and delightful and disciplined and very giving, extremely. I never had any problem. I literally never had any problem with either one of those actors.
You mentioned the comedy potential. Tell us about that as you see it in Mel.
Mel has a tremendous command of the English language, and he has a tremendous sense of humor. And his humor is extremely sophisticated because he uses he catches words and throws them back at you, and unless you're listening, you never appreciate what he says. I mean, and silly things, but when you get untuned to them, you realize it's a phenomenal ear. I'll never forget one night we were lighting a street where he gets shot and he goes through the window. We were lighting it. We had this tremendous arc light up on a crane, way up. And we were just talking. Mel turned and looked and he said, "Gabriel." I said, "I beg your pardon?" He said, "Archangel." I mean, it was like this. And if a lot of people, he would say, "Gabriel," and keep walking. And unless he said, "I beg your pardon," and he had to fill in the gaps because nobody was that quick. He's amazing. Yes, it was a thrilling relationship working with both of them.
Had some of those things surprised you as a director? Were there surprises there with that man?
Very much so. I mean, I never realized Mel's versatility. I never realized Danny's versatility. They're two wonderful actors that can play a very heavy role and make it work for them, or can turn it around and play a very wonderfully either sophisticated or very broad sense of comedy.
There's that moment in Lethal Weapon when all negotiations and diplomacy ultimately fail, and we have to turn to the kind of violent potential and
action. It's, you know,
like
I don't
action
call it
instead of violence, don't
Well,
you?
let me tell you, I swear, even in I know violence to me is gratuitous bull, and I hate it. I hate it when people are violated, and I hate it when there's bloodletting just to make a motion picture work. If a picture is working and you need action to sustain it, and you need action to make a heavy and a hero so that you're going to cheer and you want to see the heavy getters, it's the only way I could do it. I mean, it seemed to be justified, and it was not gratuitously violent. And I really went out of my way, and I guess I'm defensive about it because I'm the first guy to knock gratuitous violence. But anyway, you're right. Yes, there was wall-to-wall action.
It comes down to the fact that only Mel's style can ultimately prevail. Do you think maybe for most of us, no matter how far away we might get from a society and how polite and everything else, we have to realize that somewhere in our lives there's a moment where only that darker kind of power can work, like Mel's power can work?
Well, it's a
sobering thought.
It's a very sobering thought, and it's also the thing that God forbid you ever have to pick up the phone and dial 911. Who do you want to appear at your door? You know, do you want that wonderful pacifist cop who is going to try and talk him out of it, or do you want Mel Gibson, who you know is going to save your life and turn the world around? It's that dark side of us that we all fear, I guess.
And as coming from somebody like me who takes the dark side of things very seriously, we all are wondering when we're going to see another horror film from you.
Well, I don't know. If I could find... See, now here again, you know what? I called that a mystery suspense drama, Omen. Because if I had called it a horror film, I never would have had Gregory Peck and Lee Remick play the roles. So I worked my way into a mystery suspense thriller, which is interesting. If I could find one, I'd do it tomorrow. If I could find one as sophisticated, if you want to call it sophisticated, as intelligently written and planned and done as Omen, I would do it tomorrow.
Something tells me in the middle of all the seriousness you would find time for a red nose of your own. And the hoarse voice with Richard Donner, director of Lethal Weapon. I'm John Tibbetts for KCTV5 in Hollywood. Well, for all of the teenage young ladies out there, eat your hearts out because young Tracy Wolf, you are making your feature film debut opposite one of the most handsome hunks in the world, I guess. People are envying you out there like crazy. Did you have to break through yourself a feeling of wow and then get into the hard business of acting?
You know, I'm still in that feeling of wow.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even like right now, I did. But when I would do certain scenes, of course, my energy level would have to come down.
Sure.
So, but most of me was like, this is really happening.
In fact, I'd love it if you could recreate for us maybe a time when you first heard you were starring opposite Mel Gibson.
I cried. I cried. In fact, I was at my agency in New York, and it came over the phone. And in fact, my agent she already knew that I had the part pretty much, but they were like finalizing whatever they do. And I was upstairs because there's like 2 levels, and it came through the phone that Tracy got the part. And I was on the phone. I was like, I couldn't. I think I dropped the phone. I went running all through the agency. I mean, tears were like, everybody was like, "Oh, congratulations!" They were hugging me, and I didn't. I still kept on thinking, even when I was on the plane, I was going to get here, and then they were going to say, "Oh, well, that's okay. We found somebody else. Thank you for coming."
Sad. All that time?
I mean, all that time, and even still, even on the film, I was like, this is not happening. This is not happening. Even last night when I saw the film for the first time, I said, this is really not happening.
And during that early period, did you find yourself hearing from friends you had never heard of or had long forgotten?
That hasn't, you know, people have been saying that, Tracy, that's going to happen, but it really hasn't happened. I mean, my friends are still, you know, my buddies. We're all going to go to the movies and see this together, and, you know, they can't wait. They're like, oh, the posters are out. I mean, they're calling everybody, hey, the posters out, you got to see it, you know, so I haven't heard from long acquaintances.
You will.
Oh, really?
You will. Well, you know, your presence in the film is really very crucial because up to the time that you meet Mel, we've only seen him as a kind of a really wired out guy. You see something different in him, and I think millions of men and women out there have been waiting for your expression to show us a different character there on screen in Mel. So that's pretty important, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I never really thought of it like that, but
You're the first contact we have with him as a warm, more vulnerable human being.
Yeah, right, because he's kind of psycho before when you see
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a very critical role. Without you, Tracy, this movie would just not have worked, don't you see?
If you say so.
Isn't that nice?
That's nice.
Now, you said you first heard about this at your agency. Wow, your agency? You're referring to modeling, I assume.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, the modeling agency is also has a theatrical agency that's downstairs, and I didn't mean it like my agency.
No, but I mean, you worked in one.
Oh yeah. I in fact I still model. I haven't quite like cut loose yet.
Well, how old are you?
Well, I don't.
Is that polite?
I don't like to say my age because because I go up for parts that are like 17, and I was on the Cosby Show and I played a 15-year-old, and so
That's an
I don't
interesting
want
point.
like if just say if I was like 21, I don't like people to see me as 21. I still want them to see me as from 15 to 17.
Well, let's stay with that point then. Any model working today has to be able then to sort of pass for a variety of ages.
Yeah. Oh, that's really important to be able to be many. I mean, I think the more versatile, the more they can like. If they made me up, curl my hair and put lots of makeup on me and put like a neat dress on me or something, then I could probably look like older.
Right.
And sophisticated, the right attitude and everything. And then you just bring me back to normal, and I look my age.
Well, don't you think then that in itself is training for being an actor or actress?
Oh yeah.
To sort of take on an age.
Yeah, it is, and also like to take on an aura. Like different ages have you're a little more sophisticated by the time you're 24. You're a little more laid back and reserved.
What is it about the racket, the modeling racket, pardon the term, but is it a grind sometime? Are there things about it that you just don't like at all?
Oh, you bet.
I mean, those of us that never will know what it's like, maybe you could share something with us like that.
It's really frustrating. It can be, for me, I really have been fortunate. But for some people, men and women, it can be really, really frustrating. You end up start thinking that you're special just because you were born a certain way, and you start thinking like that. And then when the modeling's over and you have to go out there and have a regular job, and people aren't always playing up to you, oh, you're so beautiful.
But you're at a tough age to look ahead like that. At your age, it seems like it could go on forever. That seems like a pretty sound conclusion on your part.
Well, for me, see, I was always brought up by, my mother says, it's not what you look like, it's how you act. And so, to me, I'd rather somebody say, oh, Tracy has a nice personality than Tracy is, you know, pretty or something. So.
When this movie opens up, are you already fantasizing about getting a party, getting the gang together, and going down to the theater to check it out?
Oh, yes.
Are you making some plans?
Definitely. Oh, yeah.
And so, a once-in-a-lifetime shot here.
I know, I know. And since I have friends like in New York and New Jersey and Virginia, it's like I have to go to all the theaters. So I have to have several parties.
What a grind.
I know.
But really, don't you see this though as an unusual opportunity? You'll never have another party like this in your life.
I never will. You know, I know. I can't believe it. I still can't believe it. I feel so honored that it happened to me.
Would you compare and contrast for us working with Danny Glover and Mel Gibson? How do the two of them differ, and are they at all the same to work with?
They're both they're fun. You know, they'll both make a heavy situation. They'll laugh it off. You know, they don't take it seriously, and also they're real people. Like they're not. Oh, I've done so many films, and you know what I mean. And I've heard that sometimes actors, you know, get so that
it's true.
But they're people, and they keep on saying, this is so much. They're really alike like this. They both keep on saying, don't let it get to you like that. Stay human. You know, don't, you know, so.
Well, it must also have been a lesson with them, too, in being willing to just get down into the dirt, into the mud, into the desert. There you are, you know, with your arms around Danny near the end.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is no time to be Miss Prim and Pretty, is it?
Oh, no. Well, see, I don't see myself as prim or pretty anyway. You know, I see myself, I think I have tomboy tendencies.
But was there somebody behind you dumping dirt all over you?
Oh, putting dirt on my face.
I mean, here in your career, you learn how to apply makeup, and you get out on that set, and what are they applying?
It's great. It's wonderful. They put the mud on. And I mean, the best part of it, though, was when I would actually, like, I fell a couple times for real, and they were, are you all right? You know, they don't want the real bruises. They want the ones, you know, the makeup bruises. So.
Wow, that is wild.
It was fun.
But how long did that take to shoot out there? That must have been an ordeal.
We were out in the desert for a week, and it was an ordeal. In the movie, if you notice, like, the wind is blowing so much on Danny, you can see how the sand is just building up. It was, that was the worst. I mean,
so that part of movie making,
Yeah. But it was still fun, though. I mean, although we were getting, you know, the sand was biting us, and everybody was like, "Oh God, this is more sand." It was still fun. I mean, we were still running around in shorts and everything. So even though it was difficult, it was still fun.
Speaking of ordeals, which would you rather be doing, out there in Victorville or in here sitting in that chair?
Out there in Victorville.
Well, you know, all of us must think, gee, this is a snap sitting down and people talking to you. But is it hard for you?
Yeah. I confided in somebody outside saying, I'd rather be out making the movie. It's just, I don't know, it's harder.
Well, Tracy, it's a pleasure to meet you, and what a great debut for you.
Thank
we
you.
hope to be seeing you soon.
Oh, great.
I'll tell you what, without Tracy, this movie could not function. We established that already, right? With Tracy in Los Angeles, I'm John Tibbetts for KCTV5.
Lethal Weapon was both a critical and commercial success, grossing over $120 million worldwide against a $15 million budget and earning an Academy Award nomination for Best Sound.
Anyway, and here's a movie that doesn't have a warehouse. Not to beat around the bush, our next movie is a terrific action powerhouse. A non-stop, no-holds-barred thriller that left me feeling drained at the end of it all, but still with kind of a silly grin on my face. I call movies like this bruised forearm movies, because you're always grabbing the person next to you, and when you come out, your arm is black and blue. Lethal Weapons is the best pure action movie since Raiders of the Lost Ark, And in addition to the action, it has a lot of tenderness and a lot of humor, too. The movie stars Danny Glover as a veteran Los Angeles homicide detective who's told one day that he's being assigned to a new partner. That's Mel Gibson as the new partner, and that night Glover invites him home for dinner to meet his family, including Tracy Wolf as a teenage daughter who develops, like all teenagers, an instant crush on Mel Gibson.
Mr. Riggs, like that tart?
Thank you, yeah. Call me Martin.
Martin.
This is Mr. Riggs. Sit down.
Their investigation of a suspicious suicide leads the partners to an interview with a millionaire drug dealer who is also Glover's old army buddy. And now the non-stop action starts as Gibson and Glover shoot it out all over town with the bad guys. The worst of the bad guys is a professional killer played by Gary Busey. Some of the stunts in this movie have got to be seen to be believed, like this one. But the neat thing about Lethal Weapon is that it's not just chases, not just special effects technology, no warehouses in this movie, but a story that I really got involved in because of the strong offbeat performances by Gibson, who everybody in the police department thinks has a death wish, and they're right, and Glover, who just turned 50 and was sort of hoping to slow down a little bit before he gets this weirdo partner. Their chemistry is strange, but it's fun, and this movie is a great entertainment from one end to the other.
I would say about the first hour of this movie, I enjoyed it just as much as you did, because we get these two wildly different characters, and they are originals, and they're a lot of fun. Rare is it that we get the black cop with the family. Usually it's the white cop with the family, and the black cop is invited over to show that the white cop is a good guy. Here, Glover has the full family, and it's a great family, and he's great in the bathtub wondering whether he's looking old to his daughter, who's a budding sexuality, and he's nervous about her at the table. Marvelous stuff. Gibson, very, very funny in how he handles criminals. Totally off the wall. Shoot me, he says one time, totally confusing the guy who could just shoot him and then taking the gun away. Spectacular stuff. At the very end of the movie, I just saw it sort of collapsing a little bit downhill with a karate sequence by Gibson that is totally unnecessary. I just felt if they could have sustained that pitch the whole way, well, it would have been
that's the one flaw in the movie, and I'll agree with you there, because here is a absolutely evil, totally vicious killer.
Right.
And when you trap him,
you don't
if you're a cop, I suppose you put the cuffs on him and send him off to jail. Or you shoot him, but you don't say, okay, the code of the West, let's have man-to-man karate combat.
And don't shoot it in slow motion either. I mean, it's a bad scene.
Okay, so I'll give you that scene, but I think that this movie in general is absolutely terrific, and it has one surprise in it.
Yes. And let's leave it at that.
I'm not gonna give it away. I'm just gonna say I was as surprised, by that scene as by any scene I've seen in a long time. It was a delightful surprise.
Lethal Weapon was released on VHS and Betamax in the US on October 28, 1987, and on Laserdisc on February 15, 1988. The Lethal Weapon video game was developed by Ocean Software and Eurocom. It was released in 1992 and 1993 by Ocean and Nintendo. The Commodore 64 version was developed by Ocean and released in 1992. There was also another version of the game released on the Super Nintendo system.